back to Candid Convos with Nurse E. I am here with the lovely, talented, amazing Sophia, who is the, what is it, CEO, owner,
I
president?
like to think of owner and founder,
Uh-huh.
kind of, because it feels like I am creating a certain experience. So founder feels like it fits that, but of course the business aspect,
Yes.
owner.
So, so fit for you wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just had the opportunity to experience her services. And I didn't even want to come on and do the show because I felt so comfortable and so relaxed. And now I got to give all of this energy. But hey, you guys are worth it, and so is her story. And so I met Sophia, like, I'm not even going to say you guys how many years ago, but I've known, I would say, of her
Yes,
for years through
absolutely.
a very best friend of mine, Ashanti. And now I'm seeing this fully grown, sophisticated woman that I knew when she was in high school.
Correct. Yeah.
Now a business owner, an entrepreneur, and just someone who has a massive vision for her life and the things that she can do in this life to help serve people.
Absolutely.
And so I want to sit down and have a candid conversation with her about her wellness practice and just how she got here. Like, how did you get to SoPHIT4you wellness and what you're doing right now in this moment?
Absolutely. I would say my how-to has to do with me and learning how to better take care of me and those around me. Being a student athlete and just running your body hard and going to physical therapy, running while injured, so they just kind of tape you up so you don't feel the pain. You kind of learn early on that like certain type of care is important.
Right.
So cold plunges, constantly keeping ice on the body, the tape, the stretching, whatever. And then going from that and just still enjoying working out. So even when I didn't have to do it for the team or the school, it was, hey, I just still enjoy working out. I
Right.
enjoy what that feels like for me. So I was a personal trainer. Then I did bodybuilding.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes.
And you did really, really
I
well.
did really
it
well.
looked really, really
nice.
amazing. Do you hear me?
It was nice.
Yes.
And I would say that somewhere along the lines of bodybuilding and I would say traumatic event that happened to a girlfriend of mine, it brought me into yoga. And so yoga is really the beginning seed, but I wouldn't have been there if it hadn't been for the bodybuilding and what had happened to a girlfriend of mine. So that's why I say, like, it is me, but it is also things that have happened to people around me that have brought me to being here. So essentially I was doing bodybuilding, I was winning, I was doing very well. It was time to go pro. And in that competition, that show with my pro card, I was just like, you know what? I don't really feel like this is like balance. I don't feel like I deserve to be here. I don't feel like I've had the triumphant story that so many other people have had from like the weight loss. So it just didn't like feed me in the way that I wanted it to. And I wanted something more passionate. And so right around that time of considering the pro situation, a girlfriend of mine had something traumatic happen. So she was like, can I, just come live with you? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Whatever you need to figure it out.
Right.
And she decided to sign up for yoga teacher training. Now I had never taken a yoga class before, but I'm dropping her off every day to her yoga teacher training. And the owner of it, beautiful Black woman, we call her Mama Marsha, she invited me in. It was like, you keep coming in here, dropping her off, you need to come inside. Right. And so I go inside, I take the class, and I am in tears within 90 minutes. And I'm not, at the time, wasn't an emotional person. Wasn't a person who was connected to feelings and all the things.
Right.
And I was like, it's something to this yoga. It's either this mama or the yoga or
it may have been a bit of both. All of it.
I like this. And so from that, I credit a lot of the artistry and the experience and me knowing how to craft something that feels good, makes you look good, but also feed your soul, to one of the instructors of the class. Called her name is Kathy. And Miss Kathy, she taught vinyasa yoga, so it was very intense, but it still had that emotional part. So it spoke to me, the bodybuilder, the track athlete, the beat me to the ground, but also let's be emotional and soft. And then I started to understand the balance and being able to have both. And that literally just started me on this journey of saying that every experience that I offer I wanted to always be able to speak to the part of the woman that wants to be strong, sexy, feminine, and empowered. The part of the man that wants to be the support system, the protector, and the survivor for his family.
Right.
But then also the part of you that's just like, baby, can you hold me?
Exactly.
Can you just speak to me for a second?
Yeah.
Can we just sit here in silence?
Right.
And so now every experience I offer, it has to be both of those things combined together. And so that's what I do.
I mean, you guys, I can attest to this. I just had a session, which I will post what some of that session looked like, but I broke down in tears. And so you weren't surprised about that response?
Absolutely not. And I usually walk out. So because we were together and we're just like, doing this and I'm, learning what the process is. Mm-hmm. But I usually walk out to give people their privacy to do whatever they need. So that's why by the end of the session, you don't see me in there. And I'm just like, here's your stuff. Do what need to do. And I'm just guiding the practice along the way.
Right.
But definitely during that portion where you had your moment, I'm normally not even in the room for that because I do know that a person can, and I want you to, especially when I have someone who's new, like we're familiar with each other, so that's different. But if I have someone who hasn't experienced what a SoPHIT4you experience is, you need your privacy, you need your moment. And sometimes you're not going to cry. Sometimes you're going to be fine. But yes, oftentimes there is some type of emotional release, and I want you to be able to have that.
Now, is that a goal when someone works with you for them to have an emotional release?
Not at all. Okay. But what brings me to stretch therapy and made me love it the moment that I saw the place I was certified by do it, the stretch law. What drew me into it is not specifically the practice, right? You have all these other places that do stretches. What brought me to it is the fact that I knew that there is chakra alignment in this. So my yoga background of understanding the emotions that are attached to each one of the chakras. So your root chakra is your placement, your survival, your I feel rooted in the ground, I know who I am kind of energy. Then you have your sacral chakra that is, of creation. What is it that makes me feel inspired, romantic, thriving in all these things. You have your heart chakra. Oh, I love not just me, but I love the world. I finally feel connected to the world. Solar plexus, the joy that comes from that. So in knowing that all those different emotions in the alignment of your chakra, from the root, which is the base of your spine, all the way up to crown, which is the full awareness, like you are one with universe. You understand that you are a smaller part of a bigger unity, and everything you do is like for community kind of thing. If I'm stretching you and we're stretching the hips, we're opening up and aligning your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, depending on if that's a need you need, which is why, like in the beginning, I ask questions. What part of your body is speaking to you? What do you normally hear most often? And I say it in that language because I do want to know previous injuries. I do want to know pain, but I also want to know, which something that we don't pay attention to unless someone says it to you in a certain way. Oh, my shoulders, they be doing a lot sometimes. And it's like, you didn't lift anything. You didn't do anything. That's tension. That's anxiety.
Right.
You're holding energy there. So now we can think about, okay, do we want to work on the throat chakra? Is there something that you need to say to somebody that you haven't said? Are there some boundaries that you haven't set that you need to set? So we talk about that, the emotional frequency chart. So the intention, of course, no, I'm not trying to have, somebody just completely break down and lose whatever. But I do want to create a safe space for you to feel that connection to your mind and your body.
Yeah.
To take inventory of yourself.
Right.
How you feel and what it is that you want to accomplish in the session. The session is for you.
Right.
I'm just here moving and twisting all the things up. And so you can almost think of it like a little rag. I'm just trying to rinse out whatever.
Okay.
If you don't got nothing to rinse out, you good. Or if what you need to rinse out, you already knew you need to rinse out, then you're prepared to rinse it.
Right.
But if you're rinsing and you're not aware, this is how much water you had inside of you, this is how much you needed to like let go, all of a sudden you just like puddle, and it's okay.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I definitely feel like my session was a session where I was not even expecting any of this. I thought it was going to be more of a kind of workout type of stretch experience. I didn't know it was going to incorporate emotions and releasing and anything like that. And so I would much rather have that than the other. You know what I mean? Both are just as good. But I think in my session, what I realized is like I'm carrying a lot emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Ebony, you have to take some time, because I'm in a big transition.
I understand that, yeah.
You know, in life, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I'm not working full time. I'm doing school, you know, and so I'm I'm in my 40s, like going to school and not working and doing all that. You do that when you're in college, but when you like grown, it's like
I plan on going back to school, so I'm be saying the same. I want to be saying the same testimony. So I believe in doing whatever you want to do when you want to do it.
right.
For
And
sure.
so I'm just kind of like, it's just an adjustment.
Absolutely.
When you've been working for so long and taking
Mm-hmm.
care of yourself for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of us, that's your security blanket.
For sure.
You're trusting yourself for everything, you know, and then all of a sudden there's a shift, and you can't even unshift because your mind and your body are telling you, even though you're used to this pattern is no longer serving you.
Yep.
It's no longer serving you. So you gotta fight it out. You gotta adjust, because if you go back, you don't move forward.
Absolutely. And the adjust part, that's the part that for me in the work that I do. So my yoga classes are the same experience. We're going to have journaling at the end. We're going to have a check-in at the beginning, so people get an opportunity to check in with themselves.
Right.
We spend a lot of time in yoga, and I always tell people at the beginning as well, mind your mat. You know, your whole life, you're comparing yourself to other people. We got social media. We got all these distractions that make you think about what somebody else got going on.
Mm-hmm.
The instructor and me, I'm just a guide. I'm offering you something. You can do it if you want to do it. You don't have to do it.
Right.
But also, in me offering this to you, pay attention to what you're doing with your body. There's 15 different variations to this one pose. I'm going to show you at least 3 to 4 of them. You can do one. You can do 2 of them. You can do whatever you want. But you do what you want to do, and you adjust as you need to. And I always tell my students as well that your yoga mat is like your journey, your life journey. And so to the adjustment part, I feel that with yoga, because the goal is alignment and balance. With stretch therapy, the goal is alignments and releases of tension.
Okay.
It's that same adjustment. Life is going to always life. The hard stuff is going to always be here. My safety net is the fact that I'm still working my 9 to 5 while I'm over here trying to become this entrepreneur person who then still wants to be able to somehow find an avenue for where she would be able to go to school. And so I know life is going to life. I know that things are going to be, you know, tossed at me. There's going to be difficulties. And that's just the internal, ooh, Sophia wants to do this. Right. This is not including that externally we didn't had whomever decide that we're going to do this to the country at this day. Right. And a family member might decide this information. Yeah. So you have the internal stuff, you have the external stuff. And if you don't learn how to be flexible, if you don't learn how to adjust, if you don't learn how to release the tension, if you don't learn how to just wring it all out, right, it will eat you up.
It will eat you up. It will eat you up alive. Yeah. And I was working with a therapist. She's going to be on the show one day. And we were talking, and she was like, you know, they have to give you a diagnosis because they got it, because your insurance and all that different kind of stuff. The plan. They got to just
why you finna be here,
how many sessions you need,
all of that.
Yeah. And she said, you know, you have adjustment disorder. That's what you have. And I'm not taking it and like that's my label or anything like that, but I can agree with her that it does take me a while.
Same. I think people think that I'm calm, I'm peaceful, I'm all these things. At least that's what people say to me. And I look at them every time like I'm so confused. Right. I practice what I practice because I am not calm and peaceful. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. Right. I want big things. I'm by myself trying to do big things all the time.
Exactly.
So this is a practice that allows me to be able to do the things. But this does not mean that she's good. She's not good.
That you've arrived.
Yeah.
You're constantly in progression. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think that's why I really enjoyed the session as well, because it's like, Ebony, take a breath and adjust. Yeah. Take a breath and we can go deeper. Take a breath and you can move further. And it just showed me like, just breathe.
Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Like they say, keep swimming.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
And the longer you breathe, the deeper you breathe, the more you can go into it, the more you can do what you need to do. And that's the thing too, is not these short breaths, not these quick moments, no, adjust for 2 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to sit here for no. If you need to sit there for 20 minutes, you sit there for 20 minutes.
Right.
If the release needs to be for a week, you release for a week. Yeah. Yeah. Release, rest, all the things that we tend to think think about as non-productivity, that is a part of being productive.
Yeah, and we have to remember that. I used to deep breathe every morning, every single morning. And so using this app called Calm.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
And so that might be something that you might create an app.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Don't the ideas that flow through this mind.
Don't get them started.
Don't you
right.
I might be 80 by the time it come out. I might be 42. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But the stuff is written down.
It's written down.
When I'm gonna get to it, how I'm gonna get to it, when it's gonna pop, because it's gonna pop. The thing is when, not if.
It's not if. Exactly.
Don't worry.
Okay. Yes. So I would use that app in the morning and do my deep breathing. One thing that I've noticed about myself is once I feel emotionally just in a better place, I stop doing those things. You know, and I think in doing the session with you, it's like, okay, Ebony, get back to your deep breathing. Take advantage of this time where things are slow. Just stop. You know, and I have to give myself a pep talk every day. Every day, because you're used to a lifestyle, you're used to a certain amount of money, you're used to being able to move like this. And it's if you're in transition, like when a river is going through, there's different types of rocks, there's different types of paths. Some is wider, some is more narrow,
low tide, flood,
all of that
deficit, just barren. It's a drought. You looking at the stones like, wow, there was water here yesterday.
When is it gonna rain?
We need exactly. It's seasons.
It's definitely seasons, and I'm definitely in a season, and I need to learn how to adjust. And I think that this session was a catalyst for me to take a moment and regroup on another level. You know what I mean? Not just on what you can see. You know?
No, I love that.
All right. So where do we start with the question? So you gave an explanation on how you got into this. And so I'm a medical provider. I'm a nurse practitioner. How do you partner with providers so that their clients can experience this?
Absolutely. It is definitely something that I want to look more into, because this is a new service offering for me. It's been like a month since I've been here, but I got my certification last summer. I am still trying to figure out how in which I can practice with nurses. Things that I've considered and I am aware of is that there are massage therapists that work with physical therapists at like Inova Hospital, so I'm aware of that. So I'm like, okay, that's a way. Or if there was I guess an avenue where like doctors were saying like,
referral.
Referral, or we need someone that can help. Because so one of the things with the breathing, the intentional breathing, and then the release, is that you're also able to lower your heart rate, lower your steady state, and that can be helpful for someone who has any type of heart complications. So I guess it's more or less like doing a little bit more networking, finding out. You know, maybe you can let me know. Like,
I definitely, girl, I'm about to list them all off on who I think you would do.
What it is that someone could benefit from these services. Because the thing is, you shouldn't get a stretch if you're injured. So I don't want to go with somebody who's like, oh, well, I just broke a bone, so that's not how this works. Yeah. Like, you need to heal first. You need to go to a physical therapy first. You need to be cleared for certain things. So but I do have clients who have scoliosis and spinal stenosis, and so I work with them in partnership with the information that I receive from their doctors. But that was who
I was going to refer you to. It's a couple of providers. Definitely connect with your neighborhood chiropractors, because they work with adjusting the spine, which I think can help loosen up the paraspinals and the muscles and different things like that, so that their stretch session is a little bit more effective. So I think chiropractors would be really good. I think nurse practitioners reaching out to primary care providers who have their own practices, and there's nurse practitioners in there, or physician assistants. I can only speak from a nurse practitioner standpoint because we are more holistic. We look at the whole body and how it works together. So connecting with them if you have to let them know what services you offer, because they will definitely refer. They would rather refer and have their patients do things that don't necessarily include them taking medication.
Oh, yes. And I do not believe in that. I'm Miss Natural through and through, down, down. And that's another reason how I got to here. I'm always trying to figure out what can I do to naturally fix anything that's going on, because I don't want to have to take medication.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think partnering with them would be really good. I know for me personally, I don't like to give out medication. That's why I'm going back to school for functional medicine.
Oh, I love that.
Where we get to the root of whatever it is that's going on and heal the body.
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely a resource for you. If you have any questions, and or once I start seeing clients saying, hey, go and see SoPHIT4you Wellness for this, you know, I don't want to say experience. I think for an encounter that's life-changing. And then she'll let you know what all you need to do from there, because I don't know, you know what I mean? I just know what I've experienced. She'll let you know how many sessions and so on and so forth. So, okay, then that's cool. So yeah, I definitely can give you a list of just people that I think would be really good for you.
Awesome.
Another question I have is, what are the biggest misconceptions people have about stretching and flexibility?
That they need to stretch first before they come in. Okay.
I was going to tell you, you know what?
Sophie, should I stretch? You want me to stretch right now before I get on the table? I hear that all the time.
Yes.
That they need to stretch first. That they should be flexible. So, bro, I'm not that flexible. Am I still gonna be able to do this? And to that one, you're not doing anything.
Right. It's assisted.
I'm doing it. Exactly. I'm doing it. So no, you don't need to do anything, because you're not doing anything. You're not responsible for anything during your stretch session but breathing. The other misconception, I think, is that there's an unknown territory of what it is. And so vulnerability. So I have a couple of male clients, and I would say vulnerability specific to me. Two of them 166, 162. So I don't ask weight on the intake form, but we're definitely talking like 180 to 225.
Yeah, they some big boys.
Big men. Okay. And they're like, can you stretch me? And I'm just like, yeah, you know, it's the mechanics. It's how we were trained. Also, one of the things that is great perspective is I was trained on various different bodies, of all types of tightness. One of the individuals in our class, I mean, he was so tight that we would all look at each other when we like had to switch up, and he'd be like, yo, who finna get him next? Because
I can't do it today.
It's sweating, and I don't sweat like that. So it would always be like, Sophie, you got it. So I also got lucky in that sense. Like when I left out of the training, I found it to be a benefit that I was so used to stretching someone who was
very difficult
construction worker. And his body was very, very tight. He was much larger than me, but it's because I didn't sweat. The other young ladies did sweat, so they were like, you know, whatever. And then of course the men are like, oh yeah, I'll stretch him, I'll do this.
Right.
And then my really, really good friend Chester, who I kind of like practice with to kind of keep me in the game of what's going on. He has lost an amazing amount of weight now, but he's very helpful in being able to show me like, here are things that I can do with body types that are not similar to mine. So I would say a misconception is that because I am smaller that I can't stretch someone who is bigger than me or taller than me. And that's not the case. And then I have had a client who was just plain old nervous that the weight that she had wasn't going to be enough on the table. And so that shouldn't be a concern. These tables are literally made the same way a massage table is made when you go get a massage. And so
it can hold you.
It can hold you. So don't be nervous. Don't be weird.
So we need to get you on with the commanders.
I'm all for whatever the things are.
You might need to travel to Baltimore to the Ravens.
That's fine.
You understand what I mean?
I have nothing to say no to.
Right.
I don't.
Because I definitely think that they would be able to benefit from that.
Absolutely.
And they make very big investments in there.
Absolutely. They're on the athlete part, because that's where I came out of. That's on the list of things that I know that I want to reach out to and figure out how to connect with. That's already on the list.
And maybe
it's learning other fields that I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe like, look, I'm thinking big.
Think huge.
You going over
send me the information
to the Olympics, helping all the gymnasts, all of them. You know what I mean?
And I'm with it.
I mean, because this can just go I can see how it can go so far because it's so beneficial. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Let's do one more question.
Okay.
What are some common mobility issues you see, and how can targeted stretching help address them?
I'm going to say the one that I think is most useful and it is most prevalent. It's your functional mobility. Being able to do the things you need to do every day. Some people cannot reach over their head to get to the cabinet the way they want to because the arm don't extend. Everything in the back, the shoulder just ain't giving what it used to give. The number of people who come off the table and they can't touch the floor, and then when we finish and we do the second body assessment and they touch the floor, it's girl, I ain't touched the floor in like I mean, they are amazed, and I'm like, the ability as a personal trainer, the ability to touch the floor is necessary because it's an indication of being able to go down to the floor and come up. So if you can't fall safely, you can't get up safely. So functional mobility is something that's very important to me. Being able to squat and come back up, being able to literally like go into a different plane and then come up is necessary. A lot of individuals who cannot turn to the side and things of that nature, that means that your neck is tight. Everything hurt because you're trying to do everything like this.
Can't even put your head up like this. You got to move your body like this to move up. That is what I like about. So my last place of working was with a chiropractor. We merged into an integrated medical office. And so they are very much into function, keeping people independent.
Absolutely.
You know, so you don't have to go into the nursing home or you don't have to go into assisted living. You can stay in your home because you can still go up the steps. You can still open up a can of, you know, what is it, Prego, if you want to make some spaghetti or whatever it is that you want to do, because when we can't function, we lose independence.
Absolutely.
And when we lose independence, that leads into depression. That leads into isolation, that leads into anxiety, and it leads into a place that most people are very uncomfortable, which is having to be vulnerable and dependent on someone.
Absolutely. That's why I say the mental and body for me, I don't ever separate them in any type of offering or any type of service or whatever it is, because literally what you just said, when you lose that ability to function, immediately insecurities are coming. Insecurities that you don't want to say to anybody, things that you don't want to discuss. I have worked with people from a personal training perspective, meaning helping them lose weight, helping them with their functional ability, that hesitated to step onto a curb whenever they were walking. Now they can pop on the curb, do the things. But when they met me, it was I'm walking, curb, okay, stop. And I'm like, curb, baby, that's 3 inches. If you're uncomfortable 3 inches, that means that going up the stairs,
it's a no-no. It's a no-no. That's not, you're not going down the stairs to do laundry. You're not sleeping upstairs in your bed.
Now your life is becoming sedentary. Everything is becoming, okay, I'm sitting, I'm not walking. Everything in your body is changing. Our bones aren't able to hold a certain amount of weight in certain cases. So you're slowly taking years off in a way because you're not able to fully live, not just physically but mentally. Like if you're not living from a place of joy, if you're not even able to get there, I know we're not joyous every day, I'm not happy every day, but if you're not able to live from a place of mental security and safety for yourself, that's the bottom of the emotional frequency as far as like the chakra goes. That's safety. That's bare minimum. We all just need safety. So you're in survival mode just off of the inability to be able to be mobile. You're in survival. So you can't get to heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye. You can't get to those places of all being, all understanding, I am accepted, I belong, because you're still surviving. You're at root, you're at solar plexus.
And it's so sad. It's so sad when you know better and you try to show people and they just don't get it, or they're just in a fearful place.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I would say
I think it's fear.
For sure, fear. I would say I've been lucky in my practice through the years that I've slowly been able, I call it a ripple effect. I've slowly been able to make ripple effects and changes with those who are around me. And it's more or less because I don't just focus on the physical. So like you can come to me and if you have physical inabilities, we don't have to talk about that. We can just focus on breathing. We can journal.
Mm-hmm.
We can workshop it out.
Right.
If you come to me and
you're meeting them where they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You come to me, you're super strong. Like most of the men that come in here, they see the journal prompt on the wall. I don't need to do that. Okay, cool. They see the emotional frequency thing. They think it's cool, but they like, so how many times I gotta say this? And I'm like, just 3 times. And they say it real quick. You can tell like they didn't really, and that's fine because their comfort level is, I came here for the physical stuff. Let's do the physical stuff. Then when they finish the physical stuff, because even in the physical stuff, the breathing and all of that awareness, you can see they soften a little bit and they're like, oh,
the guard
I understand.
comes down.
Yeah. Oh, I understand. I get it. And so it's like, there's many parts of this that are offered, and let's say I'm offering 5 things. If you only gravitate to 2 in the beginning, that's fine, because then the next time you'll feel a little bit more comfortable to think about one more of it, because now you like trust the space, you trust me, the person, and things of that nature.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to thank you so much for just this opportunity to experience what it is that you do. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and the audience about what a stretch practitioner is. Absolutely. And how it correlates with yoga, how it correlates with athletes, like just how we all work together.
We do.
We all work together. No piece is less important. And so talking about that, and then just your goals, your ambitions, like things that you want to do. You didn't mention what you were going to go to school for. Do you not know yet?
Oh, no. When I get the opportunity to go back to school, I want to go back to school for my master's in social work so that I can be LICSW for therapy, basically. So now I can actually like formally offer therapy. Yeah.
So just
the
like
mind
a one woman show.
With the body.
Got you.
Yeah.
Offering all the things.
Man, my offerings, they have grown through the years. It's real crazy. So yeah, that would be the goal.
But the fortunate thing is that every day that we get to live, we get to get one step closer to that. Absolutely. And what you're doing and what you want to do is serving. You understand? It's not just about you. It's about who can I help? Whose life can I change? Who can I enrich? You know what I mean? Who can I help have a different outlook on? Man, I don't need to worry about that. I'm going to just worry about this. It's like, how can I enrich someone to be who they have been created to be?
Absolutely. And I want it to be an empowerment enrichment for you individually. I don't want it to be about
cookie cutter
everybody else and what can I do for everybody else. It's a moment for you to figure out what is it for you to be the best version of yourself. And we don't do that often. So you come in here for 30 minutes or 50 minutes, whichever you decide to book. And for that moment, you get to just figure out, what does it look like for me to show up as my best self? So
yeah. So as I end every show, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. You were fearfully and wonderfully made, on purpose, for a purpose. There is a hope and a future that is attached to you. And I hope with this conversation with SoPHIT4you,
SoPHIT4you Wellness, yes,
that you have some type of enlightenment and some type of enrichment to go and pursue what it is that you have been called to do. I will see you guys on the next episode.
Yes.